What's something people don't know about the tragic case of Hannah Cornelius? In the picturesque town of Stellenbosch, nestled in the heart of South Africa, lived a young woman named Hannah Cornelius, a beacon of hope. At just 21 years old, she was a dedicated student at Stellenbosch University. Her smile could light up any room she entered. Friends described her as kind and compassionate, always ready to lend a helping hand. With a zest for life that was truly contagious, she embraced every moment. But on a fateful night, Hannah's vibrant life was cut tragically short. It was May 27, 2017, when everything changed. Under the cover of darkness, an unimaginable horror unfolded. This is the story of the horrific case of Hannah Cornelius. I remember hearing about this case while I was in college, and it struck a chord with me. Like Hannah, I was also a student, full of dreams and aspirations. The thought that something so tragic could happen to someone so full of life was deeply unsettling. In this video, we'll delve into the details of the crime, uncovering the events of that night, the investigation that followed, and the impact it had on the community. But we'll also explore a fresh perspective, how systemic issues and societal factors may have played a role in this tragedy. By examining the broader context, we aim to uncover unique insights and analysis that go beyond the surface of this heartbreaking case. Welcome to Crime Chronicles, where we simplify complex stories for everyone. Hello! Let's dive into the story. And let's go! It was a typical Friday night. Hannah had plans with friends. She was giving her friend Cheslyn Marsh a ride home. They were chatting and laughing. The world seemed safe and full of possibilities. Little did they know, danger was lurking in the shadows. As they pulled up outside Cheslyn's flat, 4 men approached. It happened in an instant. The car doors were yanked open. Hannah and Cheslyn were ambushed. They had no time to react, no chance to escape. The attackers were ruthless and determined. The 4 men forced their way into the car. Hannah and Cheslyn were now hostages. Fear gripped them as they realized the gravity of the situation. The car sped off into the night. Hannah's blue Volkswagen City Golf disappeared into the darkness. What followed was a night of terror, a series of events so horrific they're hard to comprehend. Hannah and Cheslyn's lives were now in the hands of their captors. The clock was ticking. Every passing moment brought more danger. The nightmare had only just begun. The attackers drove to a secluded area. They turned on Cheslyn first. He was beaten mercilessly. They used bricks to assault him. Cheslyn was left for dead in a field, but somehow he survived. He would later become a key witness. Hannah's ordeal continued. She was taken to another location. There, she endured unspeakable acts of violence. The details are too horrific to recount. Hannah fought bravely, but she was outnumbered and overpowered. Her attackers showed no mercy. For hours, Hannah was subjected to unimaginable cruelty. She was raped repeatedly. The men took turns. They showed no remorse, no humanity. Hannah's suffering seemed endless, but the worst was yet to come. In the early hours of the morning, the men made a final, brutal decision. They drove Hannah to a secluded vineyard. There, they ended her life. Hannah Cornelius was stabbed multiple times. She was then crushed with a large rock. Her young life was snuffed out in the most barbaric way imaginable. News of Hannah's disappearance spread quickly. Her parents were frantic. Friends and family launched a search. Social media was flooded with her photo. Everyone hoped for her safe return. But as hours turned into days, hope began to fade. The community rallied together. Volunteers combed the area. Flyers were distributed. Local media covered the story extensively. The police were under pressure to find Hannah. Time was of the essence. Every minute counted. As the search intensified, a grim discovery was made. Hannah's body was found at Groenhof Farm. The community was devastated. Shock turned to grief. Then grief to anger. How could this happen in their peaceful town? The news hit Stellenbosch University hard. Students and faculty were in disbelief. Counseling services were offered. Vigils were held. The campus that Hannah loved so much was now mourning her loss. The search for answers had only just begun. Section 5. Piecing together the puzzle. The investigation unfolds. The police worked tirelessly. They gathered evidence from multiple crime scenes. CCTV footage was crucial. It showed Hannah's car being driven around town. Forensic teams combed through every detail. They were determined to bring the killers to justice. Cheslyn Marsh's testimony was invaluable. Despite his trauma, he cooperated fully. He provided descriptions of the attackers. His bravery in the face of such horror was commendable. Slowly, a picture of that fateful night began to emerge. 4 suspects were identified: Vernon Whitbooi, Geraldo Parsons, Eben Van Niekerk, and Nashville Julius. They were known to the police. All had criminal records. The net was closing in. It was only a matter of time before they were apprehended. Within days, all 4 suspects were in custody. They were arrested in various locations. Some tried to flee, but there was nowhere to hide. The evidence against them was mounting. The community breathed a collective sigh of relief, but the ordeal was far from over. Section 6, Justice Served, the Trial and Sentencing. The trial began in October 2018. It was a high-profile case. The courtroom was packed. Media coverage was extensive. Hannah's family sat stoically. They were determined to see justice done. The accused showed little remorse. Over several weeks, the horrific details emerged. Witnesses testified. Evidence was presented. The prosecution built a strong case. The defense tried to shift blame, but the facts were clear. The brutality of the crime shocked even seasoned court officials. On November 7, 2018, the verdict was delivered. Vernon Whitbooi, Geraldo Parsons, and Eben Van Niekerk were found guilty. The charges included murder, rape, and kidnapping. Nashville Julius was convicted of robbery and kidnapping. Justice had prevailed. The sentencing was equally swift. Whitbooi and Parsons received life sentences. Van Niekerk was sentenced to life plus 25 years. Julius received 15 years. The judge's words were scathing. He called the crime cruel and inhuman. Hannah's family found some solace in the verdict, but nothing could bring her back. Section 7. A Town Forever Changed, the Aftermath. Stellenbosch was forever changed. The sense of safety was shattered. Students were more cautious, parents more protective. The university increased security measures, but the scars ran deep. Trust would take time to rebuild. Hannah's death sparked conversations about violence against women. It highlighted the issue of crime in South Africa. Activists called for change. They demanded better protection for women. The case became a rallying cry for justice. The community came together in grief. Memorials were held. Scholarships were established in Hannah's name. Her legacy would live on through acts of kindness and education. It was a small comfort in the face of such tragedy, but questions remained. How could this happen? What could be done to prevent such crimes? The case of Hannah Cornelius became a turning point. It forced society to confront uncomfortable truths. The road to healing would be long and difficult. Section 8. Remembering Hannah, a family's grief. For Hannah's family, life would never be the same. Her parents, Willem and Anna, were devastated. They had lost their only daughter. Their grief was unimaginable, yet they showed remarkable strength. They chose to honor Hannah's memory through positive action. Willem Cornelius spoke of forgiveness. It was a difficult concept to grasp, but he believed it was what Hannah would have wanted. Anna, sadly, passed away shortly after the trial. Many believed she died of a broken heart. The family's suffering continued. Hannah's younger brother was left to navigate life without his sister. The family unit was forever altered. Holidays and birthdays became painful reminders of their loss, but they clung to happy memories. They remembered Hannah's laugh, her kindness, her zest for life. The Cornelius family established the Hannah Cornelius Foundation. Its aim was to help vulnerable children, to provide them with opportunities Hannah would have wanted them to have. It was a way to channel their grief into something positive, a way to ensure Hannah's spirit lived on. Section 9. Societal Impact. Confronting Violence Against Women. Hannah's case ignited a national conversation. It shed light on the epidemic of violence against women in South Africa. Statistics were alarming. Activists demanded change. The government was pressured to act. Hannah became a symbol of countless victims. Universities across the country reviewed their security measures. Self-defense classes became popular. Women's rights organizations saw increased support. There was a collective realization that change was necessary, that such brutality could not be tolerated. Media coverage of the case was extensive. It sparked debates about crime reporting, about the balance between public interest and sensitivity. Some criticized the focus on Hannah's race and background. They argued that all victims deserved equal attention. The case also highlighted societal inequalities, the stark contrast between Hannah's life and those of her attackers. It raised questions about poverty, education, and opportunity, about the cycle of violence and how to break it. Hannah's tragedy became a catalyst for broader social examination. Section 10. Lessons Learned, Safety and Awareness. In the wake of Hannah's death, safety became paramount. Universities implemented new security protocols. Students were advised to travel in groups, to be aware of their surroundings. Self-defense classes saw a surge in enrollment. Awareness was key. Technology played a role in new safety measures. Panic button apps gained popularity, GPS tracking devices were promoted, universities invested in better lighting and surveillance. The goal was to create safer environments, to prevent another tragedy. But experts warned against victim blaming. They emphasized that the responsibility lay with perpetrators, not with victims. Education programs focused on consent and respect, on challenging toxic masculinity, on creating a culture of mutual respect and safety. Parents faced difficult conversations with their children: how to balance independence with caution, how to enjoy life while staying safe. It was a delicate balance, one that many struggled with in the aftermath of Hannah's case. The innocence of youth had been shattered. Hannah's memory lives on. Hannah Cornelius will always be remembered for the light she brought to the world. Her kindness, her compassion, her dreams. Her spirit continues to inspire. The Hannah Cornelius Foundation grows stronger each year. It provides scholarships to deserving students. It supports programs for at-risk youth. Hannah's dream of making a difference lives on. Annual events celebrate her life and raise funds. Hannah Cornelius may be gone, but her impact endures.